So this is what the director of RRR was up to before he directed said film. Is it any good? Find out. So I want to start off by saying welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're a fanatic of everything entertainment, I do a lot of movie reviews, ranking videos, list videos, 4K reviews, and a lot of other cool things you might find along the way. So in today's movie review, I'll be talking about 2015's Baahubali, The Beginning. So before I get into anything else, I just want to say thank you guys so much for almost 700 subscribers. A lot of you came from my RRR movie review, and that really does mean a lot to me. We're at 692, and when I put up that review, we're at like 660, so that really does mean a lot to me. We are getting really close to 700 subscribers, and the reason why I'm talking about this film today is because I put up in my community tab, which of these franchises do you want me to talk about? Baahubali or KGF? And my new audience, 73% of them voted on Baahubali. So I will be talking about the first film and second film, and then I'll also be talking about KGF 1 and 2 as well sometime down the road. But I want to make something known. If we can get to 750 subscribers by September 25th, which is actually my 4-year anniversary on YouTube, I will be giving away this Spencer's / Spirit Halloween Good Guy doll. And if you're interested in it, make sure to subscribe and like and do all those other YouTube things. But if you're already subscribed, make sure to share my channel. That way I can get some new subscribers. But anyways, if we hit 750 by September 25th, I will be giving that away. I hate to give it away, but also, like, you guys mean a lot to me, and I've been on the platform for almost 4 years, and it means a lot to me. But anyways, let's talk about the movie. In ancient India, a couple rescues a baby who will grow up to become the man who will change the course of an old war. So to say that I was excited for this movie was an understatement, because as some of you may know, I thoroughly enjoyed RRR, which, thank you guys again, it is my most viewed video on the channel. It's close to 8,000 views, and I've never seen numbers like that on my channel, so it really does mean a lot. But to be honest, I wanted to check out more of this director's stuff. A lot of my new audience told me I should check out Baahubali because it's the same director. I've had so many recommendations to talk about it, so that's what we're doing. But yeah, I will say the trailer had me sold. Like, I did do a trailer reaction to it, but I got taken down because of copyright and everything. But if you guys have seen that video, I was so excited to see this. But KGF, I wasn't really excited to see that. I mean, it looks decent and everything, but Baahubali definitely looked a lot better than KGF. But who knows? I could like those films more than these films, but that's besides the point. Yeah, that trailer really had me sold. Like, that and the Liger trailer, dude, I was pumped for these movies. So yeah, I was really excited going into these. While I do enjoy this film, I do have a few problems with it, so let's get into things that I'm not a fan of. So this might be a bit petty, but there is an overabundance of slow-mo shots. There's like at least 20 in this film, and I'm like, oh my god. I don't know why they tend to do that in these films, but they do it, and it's in the film, and it's just something that, you know, I could handle like 5, but there's like 15 to 20 in here, and I'm like, are you serious? But I will say, some of them do have impact, you know, but others I just felt were a little bit unnecessary. And it reminded me a bit of Michael Bay, which we do not need Michael Bay involved with these type of films, but it just reminded me so much of Michael Bay. Second is also something that is a little bit petty, because it is part of Indian cinema, but there is just too many dance numbers for me in this film. Or at least, you know, past the hour-and-a-half mark. Like, I didn't mind it up until that point, but after that, I was like, how many more are we going to have to sit through, you know? Most of the background music is really good and enhances the mood, and at times is really intense and it adds impact. Last thing I want to touch base on is I'm not a fan that the last hour of this film is pretty much one massive flashback. I get why, because these two films are one big story, but it just felt really out of place to me. Like, you have all these characters that you really care about in the first hour and a half of the first film, and, you know, for the last hour, you know, none of their arcs is really touched upon. None of the characters are really embraced, except for, like, I'm gonna mispronounce this, so, like, I'm really sorry, but Prabhas, that's the guy that plays both Baahubali and Savu, which I hope I pronounced those right, but for this review's sake, I will be calling the father Baahubali and the son Savu. While he does great in dual roles, I found myself caring more about Savu than I did Baahubali because, like I said, we have like an hour and a half with this character, but after that it just takes a 180 and we have like massive flashback scenes and everything. So at times it did get a little bit confusing, when they first switched it up and everything, but I found myself like really latching on to Savu, even though it is played by the same character. But because it's one big massive flashback, I found myself at time not caring for what was put on screen. I'm not saying that any of it was bad, it's just the fact that, like I said, we had an hour and a half with these characters and they just want to switch it up an hour and a half in. So the way that I would have done these two films, I would have done the second film first and then the first film second and made that flow into one continuous timeline instead of breaking it up Quentin Tarantino style. So let's get into the mixed aspects of this film. The only thing that I'm mixed on in this film is the CGI, which, yes, this came out 7 years before RRR and has like 1/3, if not 1/4 of that film's budget. So like, because of budget stuff, you can definitely tell that a majority of this film is CGI. But the reason why it's mixed is because, sometimes it does look really noticeable and bad at times, but in other times it looks really good, like the waterfalls and the mountains for like the first hour of this film. It just looks gorgeous and beautiful. But yeah, the fight scenes with the animals, you can definitely tell are CGI, and those crack me up. And I watched this on Netflix, so like it says CGI at the bottom, just in case, animal lovers see it and everything. So it's not real animals. Not in this film, nor the second, so don't worry about that. But on to the positives with this film. The setting for this film, for like the first hour and a half, is absolutely gorgeous with all the waterfalls, mountains, and greenery. Like, honestly, I would love to own this film on 4K because I think the greenery would definitely pop, if it had HDR added to it and everything. Like, I think this would be a great 4K disc outside of the CGI and everything. Like I touched upon before, there's a lot of scenes that use CGI, but like I said, for the first hour and a half of this film, it does look really good with the waterfalls, mountains, and greenery. The scenes where we have Savu climbing up the waterfall and the mountain and everything can get really intense despite you knowing it's CGI. Like, those scenes, if you're scared of heights, don't watch it. I mean, I'm scared of heights too, but like, it was too gorgeous not to look at, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, I don't know, those scenes got really intense, and like seeing him finally make it to the top of the waterfalls and everything, I felt that because I'm a gamer and there's definitely, a few games that I've played that, you have to climb up things and it feels not like a chore, but once you get to the top, you just feel the triumphant and everything. You feel like you've accomplished something. So examples include the VNC Tower in Dying Light 2, which is absolutely gorgeous once you get to the top. The construction yard in Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue for PS1 and everything. Recently bought that, and, those don't have checkpoints and the controls are a bit wonky, so once I finally got up to the top of the construction building and everything, it was phenomenal. Third thing I want to bring up is the mountains with the spiked turbines in the original God of War. I beat that last month, and going up that mountain with the spinning turbines and everything, trying not to fall off, was really, really hard. And I failed multiple times, and my character died at least twice, getting hit and falling down. Like, it's just crazy. Like, you'll hit it and go back down, you keep going up and down. I've done it so much that he died like twice. And there's two different levels of you doing that. Like, you beat one and you're like, oh my god, yes, I don't have to do it anymore. And then there was another one and I'm like, are you serious? And last but not least, I want to bring up the snowy mountain in Phoenix Immortals Rising. That was really fun going up, and I think it took me like 30 to 60 minutes. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't clock in on everything, but it was really fun doing that, going up that mountain and looking at the scenery and everything. So like, watching that scene just brought back a lot of memories with different video games. Also, I think the best storylines are in the first hour and a half because we see Savu growing up and wanting to climb the waterfalls, and then, seeing him finally find true love in the form of Avantika. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm more than likely know that I didn't. But speaking of her character, I would love to see her in a solo film because she seems like India's version of Sarah Connor or Ellen Ripley. She's such a badass, and I would love to see more of her character sometime. And the fact that these two films are based off stories that the director's family told him growing up and him writing a whole story behind it, that is just fascinating to me. So if you think the action in RRR was pretty rad, you need to check out this film because the action is just so grisly and cruel at times, which I just can't get enough of. Despite whatever time period it is, there's so much stuff going on in this film with the action scenes that are just so asinine but great at the same time. Like, some things just don't make sense, and our characters are pretty much superheroes, pretty much like they are in RRR, but like, it's just crazy what these people can do in ancient India. There's so much that sticks that it's honestly hard for me to keep track of all the action scenes because a lot of them stand out and they stick with you. But I will give 4 highlights. I've mentioned this before, but a lot of the action scenes surrounding the waterfall is just awesome to me and is what got me into checking out this film. Another highlight is a battle that takes place on an avalanche. Yes, you heard that right. This blows Sonic 2's avalanche scene out of the water. This one is just totally badass, and my jaw was dropped throughout the entire thing. The scene with the statue is also pretty awesome because it's very inspiring. Savu appears as Baahubali to the slaves, and it honestly gives them the strength to get through their day, and it gives them hope for what's going to come in the next film. And last but not least, the action set piece that has to do with the end of this film is so similar to Lord of the Rings. It's not copying it whatsoever. It's just one of the only movies that I can compare this scene to. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but this whole scene lasts 20 to 30 minutes, and it's totally badass. But there's also different action scenes that stand out, but those are just ones that I wanted to run down with you guys. But definitely check out this movie because of the action scenes and because the story is really good as well. So, with that being said, I'm going to be giving Baahubali, The Beginning, an overall grade of a 76%. Yes, I didn't like it as much as RRR because the last hour was a bit jarring to me. You know, it being a massive flashback and everything. That's just my main problem with it. But yeah, this movie is pretty good, and I can't wait to talk about the second one because, you know, these two films are on par for me. So, like, I don't know, I had a really fun time watching this and the second film. I will be talking about the second film within a week, so be on the lookout for that. But I just want to thank you guys so much. You've honestly made my month because last month was honestly my most successful month on YouTube. So it does mean a lot to me. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.